The early universe was a very different place than the universe we see today. It was much denser and hotter, and it was filled with a soup of particles and radiation that made it impossible for light to travel very far without being absorbed. This period of the universe is known as the Cosmic Dark Ages, and it lasted from a few 100,000 years after the Big Bang to about 1 billion years later. During this time, the universe began to cool and expand, and matter began to clump together under the influence of gravity. These clumps of matter eventually grew into the first galaxies, which were very different from the galaxies we see today. One of the most striking differences between early galaxies and modern galaxies is their size and mass. Early galaxies were much smaller and less massive than galaxies today, with typical sizes of only a few thousand light years across. They were also much less organized, with fewer well-defined structures like spiral arms or central bulges. Despite their small size, early galaxies were incredibly active. They contained large amounts of gas and dust, which were actively forming stars at a much faster rate than most galaxies today. In fact, some of the most distant galaxies we observe in the universe are seen as they were when the universe was only a few 100 million years old, and they are undergoing intense bursts of star formation. This intense star formation had a significant impact on the evolution of early galaxies. The radiation and winds produced by young, massive stars can blow gas and dust out of the galaxy, which can slow down or even stop further star formation. This process, known as feedback, is thought to be responsible for regulating star formation in galaxies today. In addition to their small size and high activity levels, early galaxies had a different mix of stars compared to modern galaxies. The first stars to form in the universe were composed almost entirely of hydrogen and helium, with only trace amounts of heavier elements. This made them very different from the stars we see today, which contain significant amounts of heavier elements like carbon cygnets and amounts of The lack of heavy elements in early galaxies had a significant impact on the way that stars formed and evolved. Without these heavier elements, the gas in early galaxies was less efficient at cooling, which made it harder for new stars to form. This meant that early galaxies tended to have fewer but more massive stars than modern galaxies. Overall, the study of early galaxies is an important area of research in modern astrophysics. By studying these ancient structures, we can gain insight into the formation and evolution of the universe as a whole and learn more about how galaxies like our own Milky Way came to be.